There are moments when you witness someone operating at a level of consistency that seems almost inhuman. They wake up at the same time every day. They never skip their workout. They never break their word. And while everyone around them struggles with basic habits, these people move through life with an unshakable routine that looks almost mechanical. What you're seeing isn't superhuman willpower. It's something far more interesting and accessible than you think. Today, we're exploring 11 insights about the kind of discipline that makes people uncomfortable, the type that transforms not just what you do, but who you are. This isn't about motivation or life hacks. This is about understanding the architecture of unbreakable consistency. The first thing that separates ordinary discipline from the kind that makes others nervous is how these people handle commitment. Most humans treat their promises to themselves like suggestions. They make plans with escape routes built in. But there's a different approach, one that removes negotiation entirely. When someone makes a truly irreversible commitment, something shifts in their brain. Your mind categorizes every promise into two categories: things you can back out of and things you cannot. Reversible commitments become daily negotiations with yourself. Irreversible ones simply become reality. Think about the difference between telling yourself you'll meditate versus announcing publicly that you're someone who meditates every morning for 90 days straight. The second option eliminates the mental conversation entirely. Your primitive brain understands that backing down now carries social consequences, and those consequences feel like survival threats. The second insight involves time itself. Most people waste enormous mental energy deciding when to do things. Should I exercise now or later? Morning or evening? This constant decision-making burns glucose that should fuel actual practice. You're spending your willpower on scheduling instead of showing up. People with scary consistency eliminate time as a variable. They don't find the perfect time, they pick any reasonable time and make it sacred. 5 a.m. isn't chosen because it's optimal, it's chosen because it's consistent. The world is asleep, distractions are minimal, and excuses are harder to find. Your body initially fights this rigidity. That's normal. You're forcing a biological system to adopt new patterns, and it resists. But somewhere around the second week, something changes. You start waking up before your alarm. Your body begins preparing for what comes next. By the third week, movement happens before conscious thought engages. The third realization is that variety, which most people think keeps things interesting, is actually where consistency dies. Every time you change what you're doing, your brain makes micro-decisions. Should I do push-ups or burpees? Which book should I read? How long should I meditate? Each small choice creates a crack where old patterns can leak back in. The people who develop intimidating discipline lock everything down. Same exercises, same duration, same order. They create what looks like robotic repetition because they understand something crucial. Your brain learns sequences like a dancer learns choreography. Repetition until willpower is no longer needed. Fourth, and this might be the most important insight, these people never create gaps. The all-or-nothing mentality has destroyed more consistency than laziness ever could. You tell yourself that if you can't do the full workout, why do anything? If conditions aren't perfect, you'll wait until tomorrow. But perfect conditions don't exist. The moment you create a gap, you're no longer practicing. You're someone who used to practice. A river doesn't stop flowing during a drought. It becomes a trickle. The moment it stops completely, it's no longer a river. If you're finding this valuable, consider liking this video and subscribing to Master Being Human. It helps the channel reach more people who are ready to master being human at this deeper level. The fifth insight involves preparation for chaos. Your child gets sick. Your car breaks down. Your boss keeps you late. These situations destroy consistency because you haven't predetermined how to handle them. Every unexpected obstacle forces you to make a decision under stress, and stressed humans choose the path of least resistance every time. People with unshakable discipline solve problems before they occur. They write down every obstacle that could break their routine and create predetermined responses. When it rains, push-ups happen in the garage. When guests visit, the workout moves to the bathroom. When hangover strikes, which shouldn't happen, but might, they do 2 push-ups, 1 minute of meditation, 1 page of reading. The power isn't just maintaining the sequence. It's removing decision-making from moments of weakness. Your brain knows that no matter what happens tomorrow, the practice continues. This certainty changes your entire nervous system. Sixth, these people understand that practice doesn't require perfection, it requires continuity. Elite athletes have rest days, but those rest days are still progress. They're planned, strategic, intentional. Never because they feel lazy, never because they don't want to train. Rest allows them to train harder tomorrow. This is still movement toward the goal. When you skip because you're tired, that's not rest, it's retreat. The distinction matters because one maintains momentum while the other breaks it completely. The 7th insight is perhaps the most unsettling. When your discipline reaches a certain level, people start commenting on it. They'll call you obsessive. They'll suggest you need balance. They'll say, normal people don't act like that. These reactions are actually confirmation that you're operating at the right level. Normal people get normal results. Your consistency makes others uncomfortable because your existence proves that what they call impossible is just uncomfortable. They need you to slow down so they can feel better about standing still. 8th, the transformation goes deeper than habits. When you implement this level of consistency, you stop being someone who tries and become someone who simply is. The change isn't just behavioral, it's identity-based. You're not someone who exercises, you're an athlete. You're not someone who meditates, you're a meditator. This identity shift eliminates internal conflict. There's no negotiation because the behavior aligns with who you are, not just what you do. The 9th realization is that this process involves a kind of death and rebirth. Your inconsistent self has to die for your disciplined self to emerge. This isn't comfortable. It requires killing parts of yourself that have been with you for years, the parts that make excuses, that negotiate, that quit when things get difficult. But what emerges is someone others will look at and think isn't normal. And when you hear those words, you'll know you've arrived exactly where you intended to be. The 10th insight involves understanding what you're really building. This isn't about creating better habits. It's about reshaping the fundamental architecture of how you operate. You're not improving your discipline, you're becoming disciplined. The difference is profound. When someone asks how you maintain such consistency, the honest answer becomes simple. You don't maintain it, you are it. The practice takes care of itself because it's no longer separate from who you are. The 11th and final insight is that this level of transformation changes how others perceive you, but more importantly, how you perceive yourself. You develop an unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you can commit to something and follow through completely. This confidence affects every area of your life because you've proven to yourself that you're someone who does what they say they'll do. People will notice this change. They'll comment on your consistency being scary. They'll wonder how you do it, and your response will be perfect. You don't do it, you are it. This is what it means to master being human at the deepest level, not through motivation or willpower, but through systematic transformation of identity itself. You become someone for whom consistency isn't a struggle, it's simply how you operate. The question isn't whether this system works. The question is whether you're ready for the transformation it requires. Because this isn't about becoming a better version of yourself. This is about becoming a fundamentally different person. Someone others will look at and think operates outside normal human parameters. And when that happens, when people start describing your discipline as frightening or unnatural, you'll know you've finally mastered being human in a way that most never will. you'll have discovered that the scariest level of discipline isn't about doing more. It's about becoming someone who cannot do otherwise.
These transformations are available to anyone willing to implement these principles systematically. Public declaration, fixed schedule, identical practice, predetermined solutions, and the understanding that gaps destroy everything. Together, these create not just better habits, but a completely different relationship with commitment itself. The people who operate at this level aren't superhuman. They've simply understood something about human nature that most never discover. Consistency isn't about fighting your nature, it's about changing it entirely. If you're ready to explore these ideas further and connect with others who are serious about this level of transformation, join our community on School. You'll find the link in the description. It's a space designed for people who want to go deeper into what it really means to master being human, not just optimize around the edges. This is where real change happens, not through motivation or inspiration, but through systematic reconstruction of who you are at the most fundamental level.